Mecha anime is anime all about advanced machines and man. Mecha is a genre of anime that feature giant humanoid robots that typically are directly or indirectly controlled by pilots. The actual size and condition of these mechs vary quite a bit. Mecha anime can generally be broken into two separate subgenres. The super robot, the implausibly large with unrealistic abilities. And the real robot, mechs with more plausible sizes and features that mirror the real limitations and capabilities of physics and technology. Some mechs are colossal robots that resemble giants, that can measure even hundreds of meters tall, and some mechs are relatively small, resembling large industrial machines, albeit humanoid ones that are capable of battle. Battle, in fact, is a primary narrative feature of mecha anime. Mechs battle other mechs, humans, and countries. Mecha anime vary quite a bit thematically. Some are about the intricacies of war, and others are about how man battles superior beings, and how they might climb to the level of gods. Moreover, mecha anime can be paired with a wide variety of other genres, like comedy, drama, and romance. Yet beyond all other genres of anime, mecha anime is inherently science fiction, a speculative fiction that explores the future of science and technology. Some mecha anime that you can enjoy may include Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Code Geass, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, Full Metal Panic, Eureka 7,
Don't stop!
Robotech, Super Dimension Fortress Macross, Magic Knight Rayearth, Zoids, New Century. The history of mecha anime goes back to the late 19th century. War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells could be described as the first written depiction of giant mobile robots in the tripods of that series. In this case, we likely find the first case of a connection between robots and alien creatures, which has become a mainstay of the genre. However, as it concerns humanoid robots, in 1943, Yokoyama Ryuichi's The Science Warrior Appears in New York is a first depiction. This was a propaganda manga that was released during World War II. In fact, it was World War II that seemed to spark much of the creation of the genre itself. Large mechanical beings with the power to destroy cities was largely in the imaginations of people who were reasonably fascinated or terrified by the ravages of this greatest war in all of human history. From that time, we got anime like Tetsujin 28 in the 1950s. Each subsequent decade was hallmarked with different manga or anime in the mecha genre, like Mazinger Z, Mobile Suit Gundam, Code Geass, and more. What's interesting about a deep dive beyond the history of the mecha genre and into its primary themes is that they're actually quite related to one another. Unlike many other genres of anime or storytelling in general, the mecha genre has been defined over the decades by a number of quite unique storytelling dynamics that have shifted quite dramatically as time has progressed. When the genre first began to emerge after World War II, there were a lot of mecha anime and content that was most similar to the prototypical superhero, much like the superheroes that emerged as a result of World War II. This was the super robot era, in which mechs represented an analog for really any superhero. They fought monsters, they defeated giant threats, and saved cities. But their abilities and the parameters of what they were capable of doing were in many ways supernatural and beyond conception. After this was a period of time around the 1980s that focused on war. The super mechs and the worlds that they were inhabiting became much more realistic and political. During these times, you would see a lot more anime and manga that focused on the complexity of war, and transcended in a lot of ways the more propagandized mecha media that defined its infancy. Unlike their predecessors in early mecha anime that were about super robots, these anime and the mechs inside of them were merely a piece of an overall strategy that contributed to a war effort, and not something emblematic of total victory. In these programs like Mobile Suit Gundam, every character, every side had a backstory, and a reason why they did what they did. And the narratives didn't always prescribe moral superiority from one side to the other. The 1990s began an era of unpacking these commonplace mecha tropes in series like Neon Genesis Evangelion. Instead of focusing on giant mechs specifically and political and war-related complexities, they focused more on mental health, trauma, and the themes and metaphors relating to humanity and its ability to transcend itself into something godlike. As time progressed into the 2000s, you saw more of a mix of those different appeals and plot conventions. These were mecha hybrids. And as time moved into the 2010s, you saw more of a reinvention of the genre, a recontextualization of things you've seen in the mecha genre before. And although mecha anime felt a decline in the 2010s, one of the most popular anime of the entire decade, Attack on Titan, was a recontextualized mecha anime. Instead of having a driver take control of a giant robot, you're having a driver take control of a giant colossal being using biotechnologies instead of mechanical technologies. These titans were operated robotically from the inside, just like a mech. And in that show, you see the same types of themes and metaphors relating to politics and war that you've seen over and over again within the mecha genre. Attack on Titan could be looked at as an early outlier in the genre. It has all of the thematic elements and all of the framework of a mecha anime, and yet it has no giant robot, per se. The characters are piloting essentially monsters or titans. In this way, future shows or programs that depict humans piloting or taking over beasts of titanic size or godlike presence could be conceived of or contextualized as mecha anime in the future, depending on how it is received by the audience and how the other elements of the show fit within the mecha framework. And so when you look at the entire genre itself and think about what these stories are about and what the genre is trying to convey, there is actually a wide variety of ideas and metaphors that it tries to make or convey to the viewer, from its conception that surrounded super robots to more real robots to more political real-world complexity in the narrative. So today's mecha anime can follow one or many of the tropes and conventions of the mecha genre as it has evolved over the years. Not only can it take a look inside worlds and stories that exist inside of sci-fi, and how futuristic technology transforms the way that we might live or even understand ourselves, but it also has decades and decades of genre evolution. Super robots, real robots, mech-like gods, war, psychological thrillers, and not to mention the dozens of subgenres that can be paired with mecha anime in any given program. Like the size, design, weaponry, and abilities of every mech, mecha anime is just as varied. It is a genre that takes anime and technology to the next level.